If you want to have an easier time consistently hitting your peak aim performance in games, this video is for you. For anyone who's new to the channel, I'm an aim coach. I've worked with multiple pro Valorant players, top 500 Overwatch, Valorant, and Apex Legends players, and a bunch of other people, and I also upload weekly guides on how to improve your aim more effectively. Anyone who's ever played a sport before knows that before you play, you warm up. Most gamers have adopted this practice as well, but very few people actually know what warm-ups do, so often they will warm up for games incorrectly. In this video, I'm going to fix your warm-up and get you ready to play games to the best of your ability. So first we actually have to look at what a warm-up does. The basic function of a warm-up is that it will increase your blood flow to your muscles, which causes them to increase in temperature. There actually appears to be a correlation between this temperature of your muscles and how quickly your nerves are able to communicate with them. When your hand is literally warm, the nerves are more able to give instructions to the muscles in your hand quickly. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't completely understand this concept, but I've linked a couple articles explaining it in the description if you want to take a peek and try and understand it yourself. But basically what this says is that one of the things we want to be able to do is keep the temperature of your hands warm. As winter approaches, there's obviously a bunch of ways to do this, but it'll also be kind of hard because it's so cold outside. I found the most effective thing for me is an electric hand warmer, so I stuck an Amazon affiliate link to mine in the description. Not only do warm-ups prepare your nerves for specific actions, but they also get blood flow going to your hand, arm, wrist, and prepare your range of motion. All of these effects combine to make it so that you are much more able to make precise and fast motions. So how do we actually apply this to gaming, because that's why you're all here? Well, first of all, I'd recommend actually engaging all the muscles you'll use in your warm-up. So if you go into grid shot because Ten said it was a cool warm-up and your aim goes fast, you won't really move your fingers and your wrist much. These targets are so big, no precise movements are required, you just whip your arm around. If you try to play an actual TAC FPS, you'll be unable to make the small adjustments you need to get onto targets. That doesn't mean don't whip your arm around and play grid shot, just do some stuff with smaller, more precise things like raw mouse control clicking 3 extra small. I'd also recommend getting in the skills you use in game in your warm-up. This is more based on personal experience, so maybe you'll feel differently. It's not really based on scientific articles and stuff, but when I spend my time tracking and then go into Valorant, I don't feel like I'm playing at the best of my ability. If I spend time on like speed TS then go into Overwatch, I don't feel like I'm playing at the best of my ability. I believe that this has something to do with your mental approach, where you're focusing and similar factors to this, though again, this specific point is from personal experience, not absolute science, so maybe a tracking warm-up feels really good for you for Valorant. I'd be surprised if that was the case, but I wouldn't tell you you're wrong for feeling that way. So when we take an approach of making your warm-up relevant to the skills you use in game, which makes the most sense to me, I think that we can divide warm-ups into two categories: high TTK game warm-ups and low TTK game warm-ups. High TTK game warm-ups focus on tracking with some target switching. Lower TTK game warm-ups focus more on like flicking to targets and include a bit of dynamic clicking, as the ability to flick onto a moving target in a game like Valorant is still the ability to flick to it, not to track it for a long period of time. So when you warm up for a game with a lot of tracking, I'd recommend a bot that's kinda big and fast and a bot that's smaller. If you're doing it right, the big bot will make it feel like you're doing a lot of wide-angled shoulder motions, and the smaller bot will allow you to tap more into your fingers and your wrist. I'd also do a bit of target switching, as most of these games still require you to do some kind of motion to get onto target with at least some kind of quickness, even though it doesn't have to be perfect. For lower TTK games, I'd mainly focus on flicking, speed TS, reflex flick scenarios, and even static clicking. Just scenarios to make it feel like you're able to flick between targets. Run some wide angle stuff with larger targets and some stuff where the smaller targets are closer together. Again, just make sure you use all the muscles that you're going to use in game. A lot of people say that after they play for a bit, they no longer feel warmed up. This is pretty normal, especially in games like TAC FPS games where you go a while without fighting, or if you're an Overwatch player who has to be a tank for a game because your friends are forcing you to take that role or something. There's a few ways to fix this. If you're going to be dead for 45 seconds in game, I feel like it's a pretty helpful thing to just switch to Kovaaks or even AimLab and play those 45 seconds, and then get back onto the game when it's time to play again. Also, if you're alive alive but there's downtime, you can just randomly aim at points on the map while you wait. You can track objects that move, you can track a still object while you move, you can flick between points on the map, just whatever. If you're playing Siege and you're on the cameras or something, same principles apply. Just flick between 2 points on the map. Doing these things allows you to stay warmed up in game and get a lot of good practice in. If you like this kind of content, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching.